this sweet little flower has a very short window on harvesting. And today we were lucky enough to go out and harvest a beautiful basket of some sweet violet. Welcome back to the Honeystead, friends. My name is Kaylee.
I'm Bridget.
And my mom and I are hanging out up in the apothecary. We're gonna talk to you guys about some of the medicinal properties that this lovely little plant has to offer and why it's one of our favorite, probably one of our top 5 spring cleaning herbs.
How long did this take, Kaylee, do you think?
It was probably a solid hour. We have a couple of violet patches that are around our property. And so I sat with Moose. Moose helped me pick the violets and the bees were flying all around. So that was actually kind of fun. But this is definitely one of our favorite springtime cleansing herbs. And do you want to kind of share with them? Because I know in our last video with Dandelion, we talked about the importance of waking up and kind of flushing things out. I mean, it's the same way that you would do with your house. You
think about it of coming out of hibernation, really. Right. I mean, you know, we just need to get things moving. We've been settling in, hunkering down all winter long. We have these sweet little plants that offer medicinal uses for us to help get things moving. And I think that's one of the that is one of the things about this plant that I fell in love with personally. And it was especially dealing with someone that was dealing with congestion of the lymphatic system. Yeah. So this was a plant that became highly recommended to get things moving.
Right. And it's also an alterative, which is, again, that's another action that basically helps restore function back to your system. So this is one of our top 5 lymphatic spring cleaning herbs. Before we continue this video on spring cleaning and looking at the medicinal herbs that are growing all around, I do want to talk about the importance of spring cleaning your house. This is a perfect time of year to open up all of your windows, let the air flow in, pull down your bedding, and let your mattress breathe. I do want to say a special thanks to Birchliving for sponsoring this video. Birchliving makes mattresses from organic material like wool and organic cotton and 100% natural latex. Not only is it comfortable sleep, but the wool actually does help regulate our body temperature. It is also hypoallergenic and mold and mildew resistant. I think the most important thing that I really love is it does not off-gas like regular mattresses that are made from harsh chemicals like polyurethane foam or fiberglass. All I had to do was hop online. I picked out the mattress that my husband and I wanted. It came in the mail, brought it in, I unboxed it. I did absolutely unbox it upside down, so be mindful of that. But as soon as it opened up, after my husband came home and we flipped it over, we were sleeping on it that night. And if you're a little skeptical about ordering a mattress and having it shipped to your door, Birchliving does offer a 100-night free sleep trial. They also offer free shipping within the US and in-home setup and removal to make your buying experience as convenient as possible. I probably should have done that for myself. Now, I love my Birch mattress, and I think you would too. They're offering a 20% discount to any one of my viewers to take advantage of. You can scan the QR code and it'll take you right to their site, or I'll pin the link in the description below so you guys can hop over and just check out Birchliving and how they created a beautiful mattress made from sustainable material that truly can contribute to your overall health. So there's a couple of different ways that you can use this little lovely flower and leaf. But for this, we just brewed up the flowers into a cup of tea. We didn't add any honey. No. Because sometimes we do like to appreciate just the plant and how it tastes. But what else? What else do you like to do with this plant? Because I know I can tell them what I like to do.
One of the things that's so special about this plant, and Kaylee did say, you can harvest the greens throughout the season, but this little purple flower, it's so precious because it blooms for such a short period of time. And I personally like this as a tea, and you can do flowers and leaves for that. But I think one of the most interesting things that I had kind of went further into detail on is taking the leaves and flowers and infusing it in oil and using that as to be applied to your swollen glands to help break it down, whether it's in your throat or under your arms. You know, when we get sick, our lymph gland area, our lymph glands will sometimes swell. So what a wonderful way to use this plant to help our bodies kind of break that stuff up and move it out.
And it's also really good too as an oil, because when you're putting it on, so say I mean, I'm a huge fan of like doing lymphatic massage, and actually like draining everything. And honestly, like we don't always do a great job of having that, like touching, you know, having a self massage. Our dear friend Lucy, I love her so much. She's a Thai massage therapist, and we had her out when we did one of our workshops where she showed everyone how to do their own lymphatic massage. But I think it's really important to help kind of break up that congestion. So this as an oil not only is, I mean, it's delightful, it's growing right outside, but you're actually helping kind of move things along.
The other thing that I liked about this is because of the, you know, thinking back on the time periods that this may have been utilized before modern conveniences, there's a lot of vitamins and minerals that the plant matter contains. So in order to get the most out of those vitamin and minerals, you could actually infuse this in a vinegar and make an oxymel at it later if if you needed to. But again, and even add other...
I think we need to do that.
Yes.
I think we need to do that. We've got two things. We might today...
We want to do both.
I know, we want to do all of the things, but so I don't have another hour to
maybe we can do 2 small containers.
Can. I say we do because
share it.
Personally love, of course, anything with honey. Right. And in fact, like...
So we got 3 ways now.
I know. Well, this is my favorite way of using the violet, and you can use leaves and flowers, but you can take it and you can infuse it into a honey. And so now that you have that added mineral, you know, that the same properties in it, but it's just enhances the honey. So to me, honey is like my game plan. That's my go-to, but I do love oxymels because it incorporates both. So whether you're infusing the violet in honey and violet in vinegar and then combining the two to create an oxymel, I've done that. Or you can just, do one or the other. So there are a lot of fun different ways that you can actually make an oxymel.
I really want to do the oil.
We do. We need to do the
oil because I think it's so important to incorporate anything that we can do to help get things moving.
Right.
I think it's important.
Well, and a good massage.
Absolutely. Give me a reason to stay in my bathtub just a little longer.
So I did not actually wash these. And the reason is because it has been raining for like 2 days straight. And today's like our first window where we actually don't have any rain, but the next couple of days it's going to rain.
And cold.
Yes. So I just grabbed what I could. Everything is clean.
That is so green.
I know it is green. But if you do choose to wash it, wash it. Try to get as much moisture off as possible. You can even kind of set it on a tray.
Let it dry.
Just a little bit, because when you're taking a fresh plant matter and you're mixing it into an oil, it could turn. And so that is one thing that I was like, okay, this is something really important, because upon teaching everybody, like there's one thing that I've really taken into consideration, and that's like location.
Right.
So if you tend to have like a lot of humidity, you might have to be a little bit mindful about using a fresh plant matter in an oil because of that, because it could turn. So a quick solution would be if you have like a yogurt maker or a crock pot, and you just put your herb and your oil in your jar and then set it in that.
Infuse it.
That warm, that can help
but not cook. It's
Right.
just got to be at a very low temperature if you're going to do that.
Yeah, let's start chopping. And then the other thing too, like what we typically will do, because right now we don't have a whole lot of humidity, but we'll take take a little bit of cheesecloth and let it breathe. And we'll show you what that means. But right now, all we're doing is just kind of fill in the jar with a little bit. I'm gonna get them a little bit closer so that they can see this, because this is so pretty.
And the other thing I liked about it is I have a few friends who are nursing mamas. And they suffer through some problems sometimes when they're trying to nurse. So I thought this little oil might offer just some relief.
Yeah.
So that they can use it. This is so pretty.
I do really love it. So our goal is we're gonna fill the jar about halfway, and then we're gonna top it with our oil, so that I think that's about halfway roughly. We could probably get a little bit more. What you don't want to do, you don't want to pack the jar because you want your oil to kind of move freely. Mm-hmm. And so after looking at everything, I don't think we're gonna end up having to do. I don't think we're gonna have enough to do a vinegar. So I say we just go ahead
and use it all.
Yeah, use it all, and then if more pop up, we still have a window. But if more pop up, we can go back and get a little bit more.
This is just such a sweet little flower.
I know.
So the other thing I thought was really neat is how many different varieties there are.
There are.
I mean, I think there's like 30 to 50 varieties that I've read about. I haven't seen them all, but at least I've heard about them.
Yeah, I know that. I think there's actually quite a bit more. But yeah, isn't that beautiful?
Oop, we dropped one.
Yep.
Nope, we dropped more than
Where's
one.
my plate? Where's my plate?
Where's your tray?
So now, this is where I'm probably going to need a tray, but I'll do good. So now we're going to take we're using an olive oil.
And that's an EVOO.
Yeah.
Cold.
So, and we might need a little bit more. But this is a cold pressed organic olive oil. And I think I need more, which I do have some. And this one I got from AVO. If anybody is interested, it is USDA organic and non-GMO. So I'm not affiliated with them, but it was a good little oil.
That looks good.
A good little oil.
So we talked. Pretty. It is very pretty. So we talked about the use of violet in oil once this infusion is complete. And we didn't have enough to do the honey infusion, but I think it's important that we talk about why the honey infused violet would be good.
Yeah. So it is a demulcent, and adding first anything with honey is just so good. But if somebody is experiencing that cough,
dry, red throat, sore throat, angry throat cough.
This is cooling.
Yes.
So again, mixing it in with, that is so pretty.
Look.
So mixing that in with the honey, that's what pulls out the medicinal properties. You can also do a syrup too. Mm-hmm. You can take it and do like a really, really strong decoction. Let it cool down to a nice, not hot, super hot temperature. And then add in your honey. So you can make a violet syrup. And I might end up, I want to do all the things.
We want to do, but we only have this much of a window for violet. I've also used fresh violet and greens. We have put it on salads, go with the littler leaves because the bigger leaves sometimes can have a little bit of a different flavor.
See, I like the flowers on the salad.
Well, you can do the flowers on the salad. We could also mix, we did on that Spring Fest harvest with all the things. We did violets in the salad. We did violets on butter.
Yeah.
You could do a simple syrup with violet and make a beverage with that.
You can do quite a bit with this little plant. It does have a little nickname though.
Yeah, it's Heart's Ease.
Yeah, Heart's Ease, and it's mainly because the leaf is definitely the shape of the heart, but it's also very
It's good for the heart.
Yeah, it's very lifting and good for the heart. So what we did with this oil is, because we don't have a lot of humidity right now, we actually just took some cheesecloth to let this kind of vent out. I'm going to store this in a cool, dark space for 4 to 6 weeks. You can do a little bit sooner. And then instead of like taking it and shaking it every single day, I'll stir it a little bit, or just put the lid.
And it's a good idea too, if you've got it, if you're concerned about it being overpacked, go ahead and take a knife, or we like chopsticks in here. You could just go ahead and poke and make sure that there's no air pockets in here or moisture, just to make sure everything's stirred around.
Yeah.
But you'll know if it's okay. You will know if it's not okay.
Yes. And then what we did is we labeled it with the name, and then what we used, which is extra virgin olive oil, EVOO, and then we dated it. And look how gorgeous that is.
And it's considered wild crafted.
Wild crafted is going out and
putting some in a jar and covering it up.
And harvesting straight
wild
from your
harvesting.
yard.
Yep.
But yeah, this little plant is one of our top 5 that we really like for our lymphatic, for our spring cleaning. You want to talk a little bit about what some of the other ones are? Because
we did the dandelion one, so you guys know that dandelion is part of that spring lineup of defense as far as getting us out of that winter.
Just getting things moving.
Just right, and looking forward to what's to come. I think that's why I get so excited. Like when I start to see the red buds or the dandelions and then the violets.
It's like, it's time to get out.
Here it is.
Yeah.
It's time to get the gathering baskets. It's time to get the gloves.
Yeah.
It's time to start hitting these woods.
Yeah, and we did just put out, so if you guys are new here, that video was just out. I will make sure to go ahead and put it above or in the description if you want to watch the dandelion, because we went in, we harvested it, we showed you multiple different ways that you can use that one plant and all the parts of it.
I kind of like this approach.
I know, I do too, because it's like, it's showing everything, like all the fun.
Well, part of it, because I'm sure there's even more that we could do, but I think that's so important, is there's so many different ways there are so many different ways to use these plants, and they offer different benefits sometimes in how to use them. And we want to take the scary out of this. We just want you, we had a class in here, one program that you did, and we edibles in and around the apothecary, and these ladies had so much fun when we told them, go ahead, you can plant your face down in the violets and eat them. They looked at us like we
gave them permission to go wild.
And they did.
Yeah,
and
they loved it.
It was wonderful.
Yeah.
It was, so don't be intimidated with this.
Now, another favorite lymphatic herb other than the dandelion and kind of that spring cleaning theme that we're talking about is cleavers. That one is a favorite. I also have a video that we did a few years back on cleavers, and
she threw them on me.
they cling. Cleavers are gonna cling. But that is another one that I'm due to harvest. We have some dried, but there's something about the fresh cleavers.
Yes.
So I'll also add that video. And then we also have a few more.
Chickweed.
Chickweed, which I did mention. I love the taste of chickweed. You can eat chickweed as well. I know for me, like I've infused it in an oil and it's been really good for this, very similar kind of moving things as a good massage. We might have to do
soap made with it.
Yeah, and I think we're due for a chickweed video, because I don't think I have one just strictly chickweed.
Okay. Then that will go on the list.
We have many, but strictly chickweed I don't think we have. And then red clover.
Yes, red clover is one, and we have a whole I didn't plant grass. We planted red clovers.
Yeah.
So hopefully we will have a field of red clover to be able to
share.
To harvest and share.
I do have some dried red clover right now, the flowers. Now that one is kind of interesting. That does many things, but for that spring clean, it's definitely really good for kind of getting things moving. But it's also great for hot flashes, because of the phytoestrogens.
I'm going to be rolling in it.
That's why she probably planted a whole.
No, I think your dad did that.
He was probably like, you need red clover.
So he's ready to break out the yarrow again.
But there are many more medicinal herbs, but I think we named all top 5.
I think we
Violet, dandelion, red clover, cleavers, and chickweed. Those are probably our top 5 for this area.
And these are foraging, and there are other ways to obtain these herbs if you're not able or you don't have accessibility to forage.
This one's a little hard to get.
Yeah, well, the greens are easy to find. The flowers are what's hard to get. So, and trust me, I have been looking.
Yeah.
We did find one fresh option, but their list was so backed up. I mean, I think when I finally signed up, they had already sold out. And just if you're going to source, make sure you know where you're sourcing from. Just do your due diligence to do your research.
And if you're going to harvest, now we said this in the dandelion video, if you're going to harvest, just again, be mindful of where you're harvesting. Not off of the side of the road. You don't want to do it in a dog park. You want to make sure that you're harvesting somewhere where nobody's spraying anything.
And not on protected lands, because you can get into a lot of trouble for that.
That is, but the more important thing is just kind of getting out there and kind of familiarizing yourself with these plants and what they have to offer. But this lovely little plant, I think, is going to be a very beautiful oil, and here in a few weeks we will strain it out and hopefully remember to show you guys the step 2. The next step, that is where it's hard because we're constantly moving, we're constantly doing. So
part 2
should come, and I'll do a recap
about 2 months.
Yeah, if you guys are enjoying these videos and you guys want to follow more with what we're offering and what we're sharing, we have a whole list of playlists. We've got many videos between here and the apothecary. I've got a bunch solo. We've got beekeeping. We've got a bunch together. We just have a good bit, but this is kind of our getaway and how we get to kind of spend time and do the things, and why not take you guys along with us. And don't forget, do your own research. This plant might not be for you, so always do your due diligence on researching a plant before you use it. It's only going to make you a better herbalist. So as always, don't be afraid
to get your hands dirty
and learn something old.
Bye, guys. I think that was well.
Cute.
Yeah, I think we're on a roll here.
Yeah.